Picture this. Okay. You've got your AI, the one you use all the time. And it's not just taking orders anymore. It's like out there making its own moves, connecting to things, doing its own thing. And now imagine someone shady figuring out how to mess with it. Kind of unsettling, right?
Yeah, no, it's a whole new ball game, that's for sure.
Exactly. Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're diving headfirst into this huge shift. The rise of, they call it agentic AI, and the cybersecurity earthquake it's bringing with it.
We're talking way beyond just the usual digital defenses here. It's a whole new way of thinking about security in this world where AI is calling the shots.
Absolutely. So we've always had the idea of securing our stuff, right? Data, networks, the whole nine yards.
Yeah.
But now the AI itself is a player, like a real active player in the game. It's got this huge potential, but it also comes with some serious vulnerabilities.
Right, it's like we're not just protecting the data anymore. Now we have to protect the thing that's protecting the data.
Exactly. And understanding this, like how AI is evolving from this passive tool to this active agent, I think that's key, right? I mean, it's a fundamental shift in how we need to think about security.
It really is. It's like almost a philosophical shift, you know?
Yeah, totally. So let's get down to brass tacks here. For a long time, AI was basically, well, a black box, right? You put stuff in, you get stuff out, you had to tell it what to do.
Like a fancy calculator, basically.
Yeah, a super fancy calculator. But with this agentic AI, that's all changing. These systems can, like, take initiative, they can connect to APIs, send emails, they can even make decisions on their own, and they're doing all this without us constantly holding their hand.
Exactly. So the big thing here is this whole independent operation thing. Like you said, traditional AI, it's that calculator.
You're right.
Agentic AI is more like, I don't know, think of it like a really smart assistant that can actually do stuff based on what it knows.
Like a personal assistant that actually does what you want it to do.
Yeah, pretty much. And this shift, going from that simple command response thing to something that can actually think and act for itself, that's a big jump. It's like AI went from riding shotgun to taking the wheel.
Whoa. That's a good analogy. And, this is where things get really interesting and maybe a little scary, too. If this AI is out there doing its own thing, making its own connections, doesn't that automatically make it a target? Like anything that can act on its own has got to have some weaknesses.
Exactly. It's like all our security stuff, all the protocols, we built them to protect our systems, right? Our networks, our servers, all of that. But now with these AI agents running around doing their own thing, that whole idea of a perimeter is basically gone.
So the attack surface is way bigger.
Way bigger. It's not just about locking down the castle anymore. Now you've got these like autonomous knights running around outside the walls, interacting with all sorts of stuff, and who knows what they might run into.
So it's like you've got to protect the knights, too.
Exactly. You've got to protect the knights, their weapons, their horses, the whole deal. It's a whole new level of complexity.
That's a lot to think about. So let's break down this expanded attack surface. What are some of the things, like the specific things that bad guys might try to exploit?
Okay, so we've got to look at the whole life cycle of an AI system, right? And it starts with training data. If someone can mess with the data that an AI learns from, they can really screw things up.
Like how?
Well, they could introduce biases that make the AI behave in a certain way or create these blind spots that stop it from seeing threats. They could even hide like backdoors that they can use later.
So you're saying they could make the AI like intentionally bad at its job?
Yeah, basically. They can manipulate it without anyone even knowing. And then you've got the prompts and conversations that we have with AI.
Okay, so this is where prompt injection comes in.
Exactly. This is where someone figures out how to craft these prompts, these instructions, that trick the AI into doing things it shouldn't.
So prompt injection, that sounds almost too easy to be a real threat.
I know, right?
It's just words.
Right, but it's all about exploiting how the AI understands language. It's like finding a loophole in the AI's brain.
Okay, so like what could they actually do with that?
I mean, think about a customer service AI, right?
Yeah.
Someone could figure out how to make it give away private customer info.
Oh, wow.
Or even worse, they could make it do unauthorized transactions like transferring money without the person knowing. It's scary stuff.
So the new security perimeter isn't code anymore, it's language.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. It's like the code is still there, but the way you interact with it, the way you control it, is all through language.
And then what about APIs? You mentioned those earlier.
Right, so these AI agents, they connect to all these different APIs to do their thing, right?
To get information and stuff.
Exactly. And each API is another potential entry point. If the API has security flaws, the AI agent could be vulnerable.
So it's like a chain reaction, right? One weak link can compromise the whole thing.
Exactly. And then there's the whole supply chain thing. Just like with regular software, AI systems rely on all these third-party libraries and open-source components. If any of those are compromised, the whole system could be at risk. It's like you're building a house and you're using bricks from a supplier who's not so reliable.
So we're not just talking about breaking into the AI itself. We're talking about corrupting its learning, manipulating its instructions, exploiting the tools it uses, compromising the systems it interacts with. That sounds like a lot more interconnected, like a spider web of threats.
Yeah, it's much more complex than traditional cybersecurity. And you mentioned a few specific examples earlier: prompt injection, data poisoning, and model inversion. These are like the poster children for AI security threats.
Okay, so let's break those down a little more. What makes each one so dangerous?
All right, so prompt injection, we talked about that. It's using language to trick the AI into doing bad things.
Yeah, like bypassing security measures or doing things it's not supposed to do.
Right. Data poisoning, that's all about messing with the data that the AI learns from. Like, imagine a security AI that's supposed to detect malware, but it was trained on poisoned data.
So it thinks malware is safe?
Exactly. It wouldn't even know it's doing the wrong thing. And then you've got model inversion attacks.
Okay, what's that?
This is where someone tries to get sensitive info directly from the AI model. Like, imagine a model that was trained on medical records, even if they were anonymized. A successful inversion attack could potentially reveal details about actual patients.
That's terrifying. So how do we even begin to defend against this? It seems like we need a whole new approach to security, right?
Yeah, we do. And that's where ethical hacking and red teaming come in.
But specifically for AI.
Exactly. You can't just use the same old techniques. We need security experts who can think like the bad guys, but who are on our side.
So they're basically trying to break into the AI before the real bad guys do.
Exactly. They simulate real-world attacks to find vulnerabilities. But for AI, they need to focus on the unique weaknesses we've been talking about, not just the usual network stuff.
So what are some of the things these ethical AI hackers are doing?
Well, one of the big things is testing how resistant AI models are to prompt injection. They try all sorts of different prompts to see if they can trick the AI,
Okay, so they're trying to break it with words.
pretty much. They also test defenses against data poisoning. They try to sneak in bad data and see if it affects the AI's behavior.
So they're like undercover agents trying to infiltrate the AI's training process.
Exactly. They also look for what we call over-permission behaviors. That's when an AI agent has access to more stuff than it needs.
So it's like giving someone the keys to the entire building when they only need access to one room.
Exactly. It creates a bigger target. And then there's the AI supply chain. They analyze all those open source libraries and components to make sure they're not compromised.
So it's like checking the ingredients before you bake a cake. You want to make sure everything is fresh and safe to use.
That's a good analogy. It's all about being proactive and anticipating potential problems before they happen.
So it's not enough to just scan for vulnerabilities. You have to really think like an attacker to understand how they might try to exploit the AI.
Exactly. And you have to build that security into the AI from the very beginning, not just try to add it on later as an afterthought.
So if we're building these AI systems in this crazy new world, what are some of the things we should be doing to make them more secure from the ground up?
All right, so a few things right off the bat. Zero trust architecture. That's huge.
What's that?
It means you don't trust anything or anyone by default. You verify every user, every device, everything, no matter where they are in the network. And you only give them access to the bare minimum they need.
Okay, so it's like trust no one, verify everything.
That's the idea. And then, of course, encryption. That's a no-brainer.
Hmm.
Encrypt data in transit, encrypt data at rest, just encrypt everything.
So zero trust for AI, strong encryption. What else?
Input validation. This is huge. You got to make sure that any data that goes into the AI system is clean and safe. This helps prevent things like prompt injection.
So it's like having a bouncer at the door, checking everyone's ID before they come in.
Yeah, exactly. And then audit trails. We need to keep track of everything the AI agents do, where the data came from, how the model was developed, all of that.
So if something goes wrong, we can trace it back to the source.
Exactly. And then role-based access control, or RBAC. This is where you make sure that only the right people have access to the right AI functions and data.
Okay, so it's like giving different people different levels of security clearance.
Exactly. And of course, regular penetration testing. This is where you actually try to hack into the AI system to find vulnerabilities.
But this is different from the ethical hacking we talked about earlier.
It's related, but different. Ethical hacking is more about finding vulnerabilities during the development process. Penetration testing is more about testing the finished product, seeing how it holds up in a real-world scenario.
Got it. So it's not just about securing the AI itself, it's about securing the whole environment around it. You also mentioned AI supply chain security and something called SBOM. Can you explain those a bit more?
Sure. So AI systems, they rely on all these different components, right? Libraries, pre-trained models, stuff like that. And all of those come with their own potential vulnerabilities.
Yeah, like we talked about earlier.
Right. AI supply chain security is all about managing those risks. It's about making sure all the ingredients that go into the AI system are safe and secure. And SBOM, that stands for Software Bill of Materials.
Okay, what's that?
It's basically like a list of ingredients for software. It tells you exactly what components are used in a particular AI application.
Okay, I see. So if there's a known vulnerability in a specific component, you can quickly identify which systems are affected and patch them.
Exactly. It's all about transparency and accountability in the AI supply chain.
Okay, so we need a holistic approach to AI security, considering everything from the training data to the APIs it connects to. Now let's talk about something a little more optimistic. You mentioned that AI itself can be a powerful tool for defense.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We're already seeing some really cool AI-powered cybersecurity tools out there.
Like what?
Well, there's Microsoft's Security Copilot. It uses generative AI to help security analysts find and respond to threats faster. And then there's IBM's Adversarial Robustness Toolbox. It's a set of tools and techniques that helps make AI models more resilient to attacks.
So it's like AI fighting fire with fire.
Exactly. And the possibilities are really exciting. Imagine AI agents that can detect anomalies in real time, like tiny little deviations that might indicate an attack,
Okay, yeah.
or AI systems that can self-correct,
Yeah.
automatically fixing vulnerabilities or reconfiguring themselves if they detect a threat. And maybe even AI agents that can self-quarantine, isolating themselves from the rest of the system if they think something's fishy.
That's pretty wild. So AI is not just a potential target, it can also be our best defender.
It's a double-edged sword, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it all comes back to that idea we talked about earlier. Think like an attacker. Build like an architect.
I like that. So we need to understand how attackers might exploit AI, and we need to build AI systems with security baked in from the start.
Exactly. It's a constant process of learning, adapting, and staying one step ahead of the bad guys.
Well, this has been a really eye-opening deep dive into the world of agentic AI and cybersecurity. It's clear that the future of security is going to be very different from what we're used to.
It really is. And it's going to require a new way of thinking, a new set of skills, and a whole lot of collaboration.
So as we wrap things up here, I want to leave our listeners with a question. Considering everything we've talked about today, what do you think is the biggest concern about AI security going forward? Like the one thing that should keep everyone up at night?
Hmm, that's a tough one. But I think the thing that worries me the most is the potential for AI-driven attacks that are so sophisticated, so adaptable, that we might not even be able to detect them.
Like AI that can think faster and better than our current defenses.
Exactly. It's a scary thought, but it's something we need to be prepared for.
That's a sobering thought, but it's an important one. This deep dive is just the start of our exploration of agentic AI and cybersecurity. We're going to keep digging into this topic and exploring all its implications. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep learning, and most importantly, stay safe out there.